What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into this year's first episode of Robert Garcia Unfiltered. I hope everyone had a safe and happy new year. You guys started off the new year with this year's boxing schedule with the return of Virgil Ortiz. But before we get into that fight, and the undercard, of course, I briefly want to bring up the news that was on the broadcast. Jose Ramirez moving with Golden Boy. As a team, why did you guys decide to have him sign with Golden Boy, and why now?
Well, you know what? Obviously, his manager Rick Merrigan is great at what he does, and he found the relationship with Golden Boy Promotions, Eric Gomez, and everybody else, Oscar himself, Bernard Hopkins, to find something to work that works for Jose really good. But I think the main thing and the main what I think is going to be great for Jose is that Jose started after the Olympics 2012 with Top Rank, turned pro. So it's been over 10 years fighting for Top Rank. I think he at this point, at this stage of his career, life, his age, I think he needed a change. No matter what kind of better deals might be out there for him if he would have re-signed with Tom. I think he just needed a change. He needed something new, something different. He's done this, with the same promoter all his career as a professional. I think a change is really going to help him. It's just going to be more motivation for him, different people, different people that he needs to listen to, that needs to hear from. So I think it's going to be a positive thing for Jose.
And then there was a lot of talent in the 140 division at the fights, whether it was inside or outside of the ring. And then another 140-pound that signed to Top Rank is Arnold Barboza. Is that a fight we can potentially see in the near future?
Well, I don't know how that could happen. Well, it could happen, but I don't know if it's something that will happen anytime soon. They're both under Rick Merrigan. Rick is their manager. I don't think Rick would like that or would even want that. But if the possibility is there, but I think at this stage, at this point, Jose is looking for something new, something different. I think he could have fought Arnold, when they were both with Top Rank. I just think Jose is looking at something bigger now that he came to Golden Boy. But the possibility is always there. If you have the same manager, that doesn't mean you have the same trainer, or that doesn't mean you guys are teammates. They could fight each other, definitely. I don't think it'll happen next, but it's a possibility that it could happen.
How do you guys see that fight playing out if it ever does get made?
Well, it's I'd have to put some work into studying Arnold. I've seen him fight, obviously, but never really put attention to his style, the way he does it. What he does, what he doesn't do, mistakes. Because I haven't had the need to go against him or anything.
It's different when we watch fights just to watch a fight, or when you're watching a fight because you're gonna fight somebody and you have to.
It's different. He's a Southern California guy. He's good with us. Always been very respectful. His dad.
I've never watched him fight.
But we've never really paid close attention to him. We fight on the same cards with some of my guys fighting for Top Rank. You know what I mean? His fight right before, on the card was there, and we were in the locker room, but we were talking with each other, so we were watching his fight, but not really paying too close. Weren't really focusing on his fight. So this is, when if it's ever a possibility that we go against him, then we'll definitely study him. He's a good boxer, great fighter. Like I said, Southern California. I support fighters that are from Southern California. His dad has always been great to me. His team, everybody, himself. He's always been very respectful. So it's we've always supported him. But if that was the case, then I would do my homework. We would study him and find a way to beat him. But it would be a decent fight. I think it would be a good fight.
You guys kind of answered my next question. He improved to 29-0 with 11 knockouts over, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Solisani and Don Henny. But you guys answered my question because I was gonna ask, from what you did watch, what was your opinion on his performance?
Well, I was watching the fight, and I don't remember which round it was, honestly, because
After the eighth.
we were not what
It was after the eighth that they stopped,
what.
that they stopped the fight after the eighth.
I'm not. That's not what I was gonna say.
Oh.
We were watching the fight, and I don't remember which round it was where I seen him land a few good punches, and I told everybody in the locker room, I think he's getting to a point where he's catching him. He figured him out, and he's gonna stop him. And he stopped him a few rounds later from when I said it. So I don't even remember what round it was when he stopped him. I don't remember which round I said it, but I watched him land some good punches. And I said, okay, he already figured him out. He's already gonna start breaking him down, and he's gonna stop him. So but I don't remember which rounds it was. I just remember watching that and seeing, okay, he's starting to catch him. He figured him out, and little by little he'll break him down and stop him. But I don't even know what round it was.
Yeah, I've never seen a full Arnold Barboza fight. This was the first time I think Raymond was the co-main event to one of his fights, and I was in the crowd, but I think we took all the kids from the gym to that fight. So after Raymond fought, I went with them. This time when he fought Pedraza, I believe they had a good fight. I don't remember exactly, but I saw little clips. And then even for this one, like we're in the locker room, we're doing other stuff, so I didn't get to see I've never got to sit down and watch a full Arnold Barboza fight to like my dad said, to really see how he fights. And but from what I saw, he looked good. Little more. I think it was the perfect opponent because the guy had his moments also. It was a perfect opponent for Arnold to come back in because he hadn't fought in a while. He had that thing with Top Rank, and I was with Golden Boy, so it was a good comeback fight for him. And now hopefully he gets to step up and get something a little bit better because he's been asking for it. He's up there in age already. He's like 31 years old, I believe. He kind of needs something big. You brought up how Jose and him could fight. I think that's honestly the perfect fight for each guy because even though we can say like Jose and Arnold both are looking for bigger fights, but realistically there's really not much for either one of them out there at 140 pounds kind of besides each other. Like Teofimo has a fight lined up. Rumor is Rollies is going to be fighting Ryan Garcia, and Rollies are going to be fighting. Devin Haney is maybe the only one that doesn't have a fight like that lined up. But realistically, do you think Devin Haney's gonna take a fight against someone like Arnold Barboza or Jose, or even Jose, who hasn't fought in like a year? I'm sure his first fight's not gonna be his first fight back isn't gonna be against Devin Haney. So realistically, I think they're the perfect fight for each other to get the big fight. To get the next big fight. So I do think we see that. Obviously, my dad talks to Rick, and obviously they're gonna do their job and stuff, but realistically, I think that is a big possibility. I think it's the best fight for both guys because they're both, like I said, looking for a big fight, but it's really not out there for either one of them right now.
Do you guys believe that Ismael Barroso could be in the picture?
I don't think so because he's with PBC. I don't think there's a possibility of that. I know my dad could talk a little bit more because he talks to Rick and stuff. I think they had a plan for Jose to potentially be fighting Ohara Davies early this year as his first fight with Golden Boy if he would have picked up the win. He was obviously the WBA interim champ, but it was a mandatory fight. So the way it works is Ismael Barroso, since it's a mandatory, Golden Boy doesn't have the option to keep him for a few more fights. Like sometimes if you bring a fighter in like as an opponent and they sign the contract for the fight, you tell them, but if you win, then we have like 2 more fights with you or something. But because it was mandatory, you don't have the option to do that. And so he wins and he's able to go back to PBC, go back to fight Rollies or Ryan or whatever he wants to do. So that's a little bit tougher than to make now than it would have been if Ohara Davies would have won.
Talking about Ismael, he just became the WBA interim title holder after stopping Ohara Davies, obviously in the first round. Did you guys imagine that fight going the way it did?
I don't think anybody expected the way it ended. He's got power. He's got great power. That's the thing about somebody with power. You never know what's gonna happen. We've always said it to ourselves. Somebody with power is always gonna be dangerous because even if he's losing the fight, one punch could end it in the last round. So that's what benefits somebody with that kind of power. But from what I understand, that guy has insane power. From what Pita says, he heard him in warming up in the locker room. Pita came to our locker room and says, "God damn, that fucker hits hard." Just the punches, landing in the midst. Pita said, "Oh, it was crazy the way it sounded." But honestly, we didn't really expect it. I had never even seen Harris fight, but it was, they signed him. It's a possibility that if he wins, he fights Jose. So we all thought, okay, well, he should be a huge favorite. I had never seen him fight. I didn't even know who he was, but we all thought he was going to win. We all thought because obviously they signed him for that purpose to become champion, and Golden would put up the money to make that fight happen because it was a mandatory. It was for the vacant title. So when that happens, you're pretty much almost not 100% because it didn't happen, but a big possibility that the title is going to stay with your fighter and you're going to win. But it didn't happen, So we kind of messed up our plan with Jose, but at the same time, we were very happy for
All of us
Barroso.
are happy.
We got really really happy because that guy, that man, he's 40. He got screwed in his last fight against Rollis. They stopped it when they shouldn't have stopped it, and he got this opportunity and became champion. So just the look in his face when he won the title, hearing them back in the locker room after the fight was great. It was awesome. It was just great to see somebody having coming from where he struggles, where he has had bad decisions, where he's had, I'm pretty sure, problems in his country, grew up poor, maybe. You just feel happy for somebody like that, and that made him a champion. I'm pretty sure his next fight, he could fight a big name and get paid very very well, and that'll be that could secure him for the rest of his life and back home.
Yeah,
Is
he
he
deserved
become?
it. That's the thing. He deserved it coming off of that last fight with Rollies and stuff. He got screwed over for that fight, and if he wouldn't have won this fight, you look back and you're like, that guy could have been a world champ, but because of the decision, from a referee and stuff, he never gets to say that. That's something that these guys, that's one of the things that that drives these guys is to one day become a world champ, and the fact that it was taken from him, but he was able to come back and surprise everybody and become a world champ and get that first round knockout. It means a lot, and for the rest of his life he gets to say, I was the WBA world champ. So we were all happy in the locker room. It was good to see. He said that my dad said that I saw him in the locker room. We switched corners to watch Virgil's opponent wrap, and I'm the one that went, and I was watching Virgil's opponent wrap up, but Barroso was in the same locker room and he was warming up for his fight and he's hitting the mitts, and I came back to the locker room and I told these guys, I was like, holy shit, like he doesn't even turn his punches over. They're just like really, really short shots, but you could hear the thud of it. And I told everybody, I was like, God damn, that dude hits fucking hard. Like, and he's not even turning his punches over. They're just short shots, but you hear the fucking thud. And then once the fight started, you saw how easy it was. It wasn't even like a shot that he like winded up or turned or put everything into. It was just a really, really short little left hand and just caught him clean. And that's how hard that man hits. It was crazy.
Are those shots more dangerous than the ones where you do turn?
They're all dangerous. Like if you don't see it coming, or with somebody that has that kind of power, like Ryan Garcia that torques everything into like his left hook, it's just as dangerous as these. These are really, really short shots, but if they get you in the right spot and you have power the way these guys have, then it'll put you out.
Mm-hmm. Well, doesn't he become the mandatory for Rollies after?
Yeah, it's a WBA, I guess, interim, regular, whatever. It's one of the last WBA titles that has multiple levels to it. The thing is that this was probably one of the times where actually got used correctly, like interim title, is Rollies got injured So Rolly's got injured. The division can't wait for you. You know, they're not gonna wait till Rolly's comes back. So they throw an interim title on a fight. And I think that's the point of an interim title, is if there's like injuries or if there's a reason somebody can't be fighting for a long time or whatever, you make somebody the interim champ. And then the first fight back, if they don't fight, you know, if Rolly's comes back and he doesn't fight Barroso, then he's the champ, unless he accepts like a step aside money or he agrees to wait one more fight or whatever. But I think this is one of the few times where they actually used it correctly. Rolly's was injured. He wasn't going to be fighting. So Barroso gets to fight for the interim title, and then Rolly's has to fight the winner. So, you know, now that we're hearing that Rolly's might be fighting Ryan, I'm sure they'll make that fight happen and they'll pay Barroso a step aside money. He'll accept it. You know what I mean? He'll say yeah, and then he'll wait for the winner, and then he gets the winner after, or they'll figure something out for him. But that this is probably one of the few times where they've used the interim title correctly. It was because of an injury and stuff, and you know, they can't hold up the division.
I interviewed Rollies after the fight, and he was telling me that when they did fight, he was telling everybody that he can crack and how no one believed him. But after this, do you guys believe?
Yeah, you got to give Rolly's credit out. Like there's like wins that after the like, there's certain wins that age like really nicely. Like you look back and you're like, damn, that guy did this to that guy and he's been looking really good or whatever. And now you got to give Rolly's a little bit of credit. I
got him in 2-week notice, right?
I don't think he won the fight. I don't think Rolly. I mean, they stopped it really bad, and I think Barroso was winning the fight. But looking back at how hard the guy hits now, you got to give Rolly credit for lasting however many rounds they went, 10 rounds or whatever it was. And you got to understand now why Rolly was kind of on his back foot, moving a little bit more. You're like, God damn, this guy does hit hard.
What was your take on that, Theo?
Rolly said it, you know, I think in an interview saying how hard that guy hits, and from what we've seen, you know, we believe it. We've seen it. We believe it. He's gonna be dangerous to anybody because that power, you know, anybody with that kind of power is always gonna be dangerous, because one, like I said it earlier, one punch could change everything. You know, you could be losing the whole fight, but then one punch that you land and you hurt your opponent and you finish them and end up winning the fight, even though you could be losing every single round. Just the way it is, you know, when you have that kind of power. You know, we've been in that situation where, you know, people tell, why did you take that fight? That guy's got so much power, and yeah, my fighter's much more talented. My fighter's much better. Yes, but don't forget that one punch could make a big difference. So it's just the way it is, you know. But then in boxing, we have to take that chance. We have to take that. You know, some fighters need to take those chances in order to become great fighters and great champions.
All right, now moving on to the main event. It was the return of Virgil Ortiz. He improved to 20-0, 20 knockouts. It's a new year. He's in a new division. I know people were a little upset that it ended pretty quickly. Because even Virgil himself said that he wanted to continue just to show the world what he's been working on. But is there anything that you guys saw in the corner that probably us in the audience didn't see? Because I know it's different when you're inside of the ring versus outside.
No, well, I think it was stopped a little early, but it wasn't stopped. It was stopped early where the ref should have stood, told the guy, show me something, because that's what normally refs do when they see that they're blocking or staying in the ropes and not responding. They'll go up and say, show me something. That way they know they're okay. They could either hold, they could punch back, they could take a knee, they could move around. Show me something. They always say that, but I don't think I've heard that. I don't know if the ref said it, but yes, it was a little early, but it just I think it prevented Virgil from getting a really nice knockout, landing a one punch and really hurting the guy. Well, that's the only thing that we missed out. I think it would have been a matter of a few seconds more, maybe next round, where Virgil would have won by knockout. So it wasn't like the guy got robbed, because like when Rolly's and Barroso's fight got stopped, Barroso got robbed from that. The ref made a mistake and robbed him from getting that win. In this case, it was just kind of like the ref kind of saved him from getting hurt pretty bad. The ref also hurt Virgil getting that devastating knockout. But you know, just that's just the only difference. I don't think it was gonna be any different. Obviously, the people, the fans, ourselves, we wanted to show a little bit more, but it's just the way it is. The ref called it, and you know, there's nothing we could argue about.
Yeah, it was stopped a little bit early, but like my dad said, it was just a matter of time before Virgil did get the stoppage. I think one of the things people don't understand too is that this was bad. I think for everybody. I think for everybody it was bad, even for Virgil, who hadn't been in the ring for, I believe it was like 17, 18 months, who he hadn't fought. He was also looking to get some rounds, and he hurt him with the jab. He jumped on him, but he didn't get the clean TKO that I'm sure he wanted. It had been a long road for him to finally get back to this moment, to be able to fight. I was listening to some of his interviews that he was doing with Golden Boy and some of these guys, some other media outlets, where he was talking about how difficult it was for him being out so long, and how his injuries and stuff kept him out of the ring. It was kind of out of his hands, out of his control. And he wouldn't believe, that he was 100% good until he was finally back in the ring. So just the fact that he was able to fight and get past his illness and the injuries that he suffered was already a big moment for him. And then if he would have got just the clean TKO, it would have meant a lot more for him. But the way it was stopped, even for him, left like a little like, man, like, the crowd didn't seem like they were happy with it. There's people like complaining about it. It's not his fault, but it was, I'm sure for him it was kind of bittersweet, where he's like, yeah, I finally got back to the ring, and he was about to stop the guy, and then just the fact that the ref jumped in a little bit too early just kind of makes it for him like, fuck, like that would have made it perfect if he would have just been able to get the clean TKO.
At least a knockdown.
Yeah, just a knockdown, something, because like I said, this meant a lot for him and the whole team and stuff. Just the fact that he was able to get back to the ring. I don't think people understand how serious his illness was, how bad he actually was. And this is the way these guys make their livings, like to go 18 months without working, like without being able to make money and provide and stuff like that. I'm sure Virgil had some difficult moments and stuff, and just the fact that he was able to get back there and stuff meant a lot to him, to the whole team and everybody. And everybody was just happy to see him. The crowd reacted real nice to him when he walked out. There's a big crowd. So it was a really, really good moment for him, being able to come back. But just that little premature stoppage kind of puts a little dent in it. But either way, it was cool to see Virgil back. And I know he's happy and stuff, and his dad and everybody, because I don't think people understand how tough it was for him.
Yeah, his attitude translated to everyone, because even at the press conference and the weigh-in, he gave everybody interviews. He was there till the very end.
Yeah, no, I think one of the things about I wouldn't say one of the good things that comes out of it, because I don't think there's anything good that really came out of him getting injured and all that stuff. But I think it gives him a different perspective of seeing the sport that he loves, and something he's done since he was a little kid. He was 8 years old, and multiple hundreds of amateur fights and tournaments, and this all the time he spent in the gym training and the hard work and stuff. And you see how it could be taken away from him. I think it gives him a different perspective, and he kind of looks back and says like, damn, I really appreciate everything that this sport gives me, and he appreciates how much he loves the sport, and now every little moment that he spends in the ring, he'll appreciate it a little bit more, because it was almost taken from him. So I think we're gonna see a better version of Virgil moving forward, because I think his mentality and stuff, he got to see what it was like for a year and a half, the sport being really, really close to being taken away from him. So I think we'll see a better Virgil moving forward.
A little blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
I know he called out Tim Tszyu. He wants to fight it, and that would be a crazy fight. It would basically be like a modern day classic. But given the fact that he only fought less than a round, do you think he should take one more fight before he actually goes up against a fighter like Tszyu?
I think Virgil will fight him next if they put up a date and everything. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Tim Tszyu has the date already, sometime in March or something, where rightfully so. I think Virgil could take another fight also before that. I would love Virgil to come back quick, sometime in May, and then fight Tim Tszyu before the end of the year, sometime in the fall. That would be a huge fight. It would be great. Virgil wants to fight the best in the divisions. He wants to be remembered as one of the greats. And I think those type of fights, fighting champions like that, will put him there 100%. We know he's got the talent, he's got the power, he's got the skills, he's got the dedication, the mindset to become great. And those are the fights that will get him there. I definitely think it's something that will happen. From what I've been reading all over, is that they're actually already communicating with Golden Boy. His promotion, Tim Tszú's promotion, is already talking about it. So man, can't get any better, man. I see that happening before the end of the year, and that would be great. Hopefully those type of fights is what boxing needs. In another year, just like the one we had last year, would be awesome to have those type of fights. And I think being part of it is going to be great.
I think it's a great style matchup, but both guys are I think the perfect example for like young fighters and stuff, the way they carry themselves, and they're not big talkers. It doesn't take, one of the things that I saw this weekend that I didn't really like it. Like I didn't like the way he was going about it, was like Arnold Barboza, the way he walks up to the fighters and starts talking smack to them in their face. And you see all the public stuff with like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and all these young fighters, and all the social media that they're just looking for clout, for attention, but they're not fighting each other. Like all they do is talk shit to each other on social media. Arnold Barboza outside of the ring going up to them, talking smack to them, and it's kind of annoying. I don't like the way it looks. And then you got guys like Virgil and Tim Tszú, who that was all Virgil calling out Tim Tszú. People, a lot of the stuff post fight, like it's kind of orchestrated. Like they'll come back and for example, like Bam, after his fight, not the one with Sonny Edwards, the one before, we knew, Bam takes the win, he's calling out Sonny Edwards. That's the fight that we're looking forward to. That's the fight that we want to make. For this one, Virgil came back, and I don't know if he asked you. He said he asked you like what should I say, or who should I say, anybody's name, and you told him, you're like, just say any world champ or anybody. And as he was walking over there, I guess it just clicked for him. He's like, nah, like I want to fight Tim Tszú. And he walks over and he just says, with all due respect, like this is a sport, I'm a competitor. I want to fight Tim Tszú. And even if you see Tim Tszú's response on Twitter, he's like, welcome to 154. Like, I would love to put up a modern day classic with you, Virgil. And Virgil says, I know you would. Thank you. And they're already in communications to make that fight happen. I don't think it'll happen next. I think the best thing for Virgil would be to get another fight in before, because Tim Tszú's he's not just a great fighter, but he's been really, really active the past couple of years. I think last year he fought 3 times, the year before the same thing, and in competitive fights against really good fighters. So I think he's been obviously a lot more active than Virgil. So maybe for Virgil to get one more fight in, and then, like my dad said, maybe do it at the end of the year. So I think it's a perfect fight. I think style wise, I don't think there's any way it could be a boring fight. It won't be a good fight. And then the way the guys carry themselves and stuff, I think it's a perfect fight for like young fans and stuff to really get behind, because it's going to be a classic.
It's all about between those two. What were you going to say?
Can't wait.
Oh, you can't wait. I was talking to him after the fight, and he was telling me that he wants to be as busy as he can this year. He wants to get at least 3 fights, but he would like to get 4. Do you think that's a possibility, to get all 4 fights in within the year?
It is, because obviously he fought really first weekend of the year, which is a big plus. So he could fight as soon as April or May, then sometime in the summer, and then before the end of the year, early in the summer, and then before the end of the year. But I think 3 would be more reasonable. I think promoters themselves, the zone also has to approve it, and also has to put up a budget and all that. So they have so many different fighters, so many different big fights. So I think 3 is more reasonable. But yeah, sometime May, early summer, and then in the fall, I think he's more than ready to take that fight against Tim Tszú. And from what it looks like, they're already communicating with each other. So it looks like it's something realistic.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you guys learned or that surprised you guys about Virgil throughout this whole camp leading up to the fight?
No, we had a good camp. The Charles Tremblay through Dr. Bautista and also Victor Conte communicated very well. went through a lot of things, what was the best thing for Virgil, and things went very smooth. The weight was really, I can't, it was easier than we could have expected. We were a little put, like, man, how hard is it going to be? But no, when it came to the day of the weigh-in, right before he weighed in, he was already on weight. The night before, he didn't have to do a big cut, and that's great. I talked to him. I talked to him before he weighed in. I said, "How do you feel?" I feel good, Robert. Just the way you see them in their eyes, the way they're talking, it is a lot. I've seen it all. And fighters would rather not even talk. They'll rather, Virgil was communicating with everybody, talking with everybody, walking around. That was a big plus. And I told him, what do you think about 2 more pounds? The way you are right now, you're at 156. 2 more pounds is like easy, no problem. And I asked Charles the same thing. Charles was with him the night before cutting weight. And like I said, it wasn't like a big cut he had to do. And Charles was like, no problem at 154. So that's why we're comfortable saying we could fight any champion at 154, or else we'll be challenging the 160 pounders. But I think 154 is going to be great. I think he will fight at 154 this year, for the title. If it happens against Sue, that's awesome. He health-wise, he was great.
Would you guys go to Australia for that fight?
You know what? I would love to. Why not? It would be huge. Other fighters have done it. It would be great. Other fighters go to different countries to fight for the world.
With Josh.
It's crazy. We've done it before many times. Why not? I would love to.
That'd be crazy. I don't know. Something about Australia doesn't I don't know. The spiders out there are scary for me.
The what?
I said the spiders out there are scary for me. They have really
spiders over there.
Yeah, like huge ones. I don't know.
It's different. They got fucking kangaroos and shit.
Kangaroos.
I don't know. If it does happen, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So is Virgil here to stay with RGBA?
Well, from the camp that we had, everything went smooth. Everything went great. He's a great kid, great person. His dad was really, we had fun the whole training camp. Hopefully, man, it's nice. It's nice to have him back. It's honestly like he never left. He came in with, but nobody knew that he was coming back. It was just between me and the dad, and then Rick also got, Rick Marigan got involved, obviously. But when he showed up, my dad shows up to the gym, looks at him, he's like, "Oh wow, welcome back." Beat everybody else. It wasn't like a total surprise. It was like he just never left. You know what I mean? Maybe because he didn't have that many fights. He just had one fight. So, and everybody knowing his I don't injury, we could say that, he was sick. Yeah. So it was more like, well, he's just been off because he's sick, not because he just had one fight. So it was like it never really happened. Like he never even left. And I think he said the same thing. He felt comfortable, like he just never left. So that's the way it was. Everybody was excited to see him back, and he just came in like he had never left. It was great. And it's great to have
most of the guys in our sorry, finish. Sorry, Mother.
Hopefully we're with him, the remainder of his career. He's only 25. He's got a great future ahead of him.
Yeah, one of the things about him coming back and it being so easy for him to come back is that most of the guys that we have in our gym, they all kind of grew up together. Like they all kind of grew up in the amateurs together and stuff. Like Bam and Virgil kind of trained almost at the same time. Like they were like an hour apart. So by the time Bam is getting there, Virgil's sparring and stuff. And Bam's like the world champ in the gym right now. Jose wasn't in camp, So Bam gets there and he sees Virgil. He's like, "Oh shit, what's up?" Like real cool, you know what I mean? And they've known each other forever. They got pictures when they're little kids in the amateurs together. The rest of the guys are all from Texas too, Panterita, all these guys. So they kind of all, they've known each other for a long time. So it's kind of a tight knit group. Nobody, thinks they're they're this and that. And Virgil and Bam are like the two guys right now. They're like the perfect example for everybody. The way they act, the way they interact with the other fighters and stuff. So it was, it was good to have him back. One of the things we didn't talk about though was Emiliano Gandara, also his pro debut. He's a 154 pounder that trains with Virgil. Just real quick, he got a first round TKO KO, whatever you want to call it. He made his professional debut. They have four kids that Hector Beltran, who's one of Virgil's trainers, that he's helped with. Figo Ramirez, I think he turned pro or he fought on Virgil's last card. They got Figo, Emiliano that just turned pro, and they got two other kids that will be turning pro sometime this year. Hector's son, Hector Beltran Jr., and then Carlos Martinez. So they got this group of four kids that have been together since they were like young amateurs and growing up together. Really close friends with like Virgil and with all those guys. And Emiliano, he made his pro debut. We just wanted to give him a shout out because he had a first round knockout, and we could tell it meant a lot to him, his dad and stuff. The way they reacted to the win. He had a big crowd there, which was cool. So it was nice to see for Emiliano.
Another great family. Everything was great about them too. His family, his team, everybody was great. So we're happy that we were part of it too.
Is he training with you guys?
No,
we all trained together.
Well, he trained. He had camp here.
He had camp with us, yeah.
So he had camp here, but obviously Hector Beltran and Virgil, they're the trainers. They do camps here, but yeah, they're the trainers.
Yeah, they're the head trainers. We just we help them. If there were some days that Hector's watching Virgil, we watch me or Felipe watch Emiliano spar. We do mitts with them. We all help with whatever is needed.
Okay. Pita, you didn't answer the question where I asked if there's anything you learned or that surprised you about Virgil this time around.
I think the weight cut was how I wasn't there. I got there just the day of the fight, so I didn't see the weight cut. But just hearing the way my dad and Charles were talking, in a way it did surprise me because I don't think people don't understand. Like, I'm not going to get into too much detail about it, but the reason they chose the 156 pounds was for like a specific reason. I think that's kind of when he started to have a little, problems in getting leading up to the Staniones fight, was around that weight. So they chose 156 pounds at the beginning of camp. The opponent knew, everybody knew. And for a little bit, my dad and even my dad was kind of saying, you know what, maybe we shouldn't have done it there. We should have done it a little bit heavier. Maybe he should look to fight, just go straight to 160, and we all figured, that's where he was having problems the last camp. And the way they kept texting, we're like in a group chat and they were texting like he's really good. The week of the fight, they didn't leave till Wednesday. So usually fighters leave the whole week, but he left Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday, he still trained at the gym, and that's when you start your weight cut. The way he was hitting mitts, the way he was hitting the bag, he was with a lot of energy, like still, messing around and training with a lot of energy. Every single day he would finish training and Charles would kind of tell him, hey, I think that's good enough for today. And he would say, I'm gonna get on the treadmill, run like a mile real quick. Like, I feel like, like I have a lot of energy. I can still, so he would get on the treadmill, run. So I think that really did surprise me with how easy it was for him, how energized he was on fight week. We've seen guys who kind of, their mood changes and stuff, and I didn't see that from Virgil. So it was a big surprise, and it was a good surprise that he was that healthy and stuff. And that's why my dad was right away with texting. It was like, he said he'll make 154 easy, because we were thinking, my dad, I don't know if he talked to his dad and stuff, they were thinking, maybe let's do it at 158, maybe just 160, or let's start looking at fights for him at 160 after this one. We'll see how it goes. And he made it really easy, and he said, I'll make 154. So, let's go after the guys at 154. But I think that's the one thing that surprised me the most was how good he did the weight cut, coming off that illness and stuff. We didn't know what to expect, but, he was healthy. He was good.
Yeah, he kept bringing up that he was on his best. So that at his best, I mean. So that's pretty cool. And then to end this, I know Top Rank has an event this Saturday, January 13th. Betterby is going to be fighting Smith. Do you want to touch up on a little bit about that?
Just a good card, good all around card. Betterby versus Smith. There's a lot at stake. We're kind of expecting or waiting for the next undisputed fight to be Betterby versus Bivol. So hopefully everything goes to plan and Betterby pulls off the win, defending his belts. But on the undercard, the co-main, I believe it's a co-main event, is it's a really, really good 118-pound title fight. Jason Maloney just picked up I believe the WBO world title, and he's defending it against Saul Sanchez, local kid from Pacoima. So just a shout out to Saul Sanchez and his team. Hopefully, he goes out there, pulls off the upset, and comes back home with the world title. We're all rooting for him. There's a lot of local guys here in Southern California who I don't know him that well. I can't say I know him personally, but I've heard a lot about him. He's been to the gym to spar and stuff. So I do, I've seen him around and stuff. And you just have, you got to root for those kind of kids, the Southern California kids that are, especially going to another country. And I think the fight's in Canada, right? Yeah, I believe it's in Canada. So he's going to Canada. Hopefully he's able to pull off the win and come back home with the world title, another world title for, for Southern California. So, we'll be rooting for Saul Sanchez this weekend.
All right, well, that was it. Little shout out for myself as well, because I did get some interviews. So you guys can go to my page at Xtina Sports. Yeah, I got some interviews with Teofimo. I got Rollies on there, Davies, Sugarcane. He was supposed to fight, but they ended up canceling his fight. And who else? Oh, Virgil, of course, and Virgil. So check that out. Tell me what you guys think, and then don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments on this episode, and tell us what you think about the
See you
fight.
guys next
All right, guys.